COROS watches come with this GPS mode called UltraMax. In this video, we'll cover what UltraMax mode is, how to turn it on and off, and when to use it. Now, spoiler alert, in most cases, I don't recommend that you use UltraMax mode. So be sure to stick around for the entire video because I'll show you some great alternatives, other settings in the watch that you can change to get a better result. What is UltraMax? UltraMax is a battery-saving GPS mode. So within 120 seconds, for 30 seconds the GPS comes on, and to account for the remaining 90 seconds, the watch uses motion sensors and what COROS calls their intelligent stride algorithm. So the idea is that you're hopefully saving some battery while not sacrificing too much of the GPS's tracking accuracy. So let me quickly show you how to turn UltraMax on and off, and then we'll get into some of the use cases. In the watch settings, there is this UltraMax symbol. So you can click on that, but it will say available in these workout modes only. So you can't turn it on directly from there. What you have to do is first start a workout. So we could start a mountain climb, let's say. And then once the workout has started, press and hold this button. And then in the workout mode, you can turn on UltraMax. You can go in at any time and turn that off. Let's get into some of the use cases for when to use UltraMax. You may want to use UltraMax GPS mode if you're planning a multi-day extended outing where you will have no access to charge the watch's battery. This would be the case where you may benefit from some of the battery-saving capabilities within UltraMax mode. Just keep in mind that you will be sacrificing at least some of the tracking accuracy. A more ideal situation is maintaining a higher level of tracking accuracy on the full GPS mode. To achieve this, you can preserve the battery life by dialing in some other settings on the watch. I've got 3 tips that will help you do this. Tip number 1, this tip is more like a piece of good news. The COROS watches already have an excellent battery life. So this COROS Apex 46mm that I'm using has a listed full GPS battery life of 35 hours. The newer COROS Apex 2 boasts 45 hours. So this means that you'll be able to get through most scenarios without ever having to use the UltraMax GPS mode. Tip number 2, you can change other settings to preserve battery life. With the tips that I'm about to show you, I was able to do a 20-hour day in the Himalayas using full GPS mode, and at the end of the day, I still had 50% of my battery remaining. In the system settings, we can go to Sensors, Optical HR, and this daily heart rate reading instead of real time, make sure that's turned to every 10 minutes. This will significantly save the battery life. Now let's go back a little bit and go into some of these other settings, so more settings. Gesture backlight, you can turn that off. This is basically when you look at your watch, the backlight won't automatically turn on. You'll have to scroll this button to turn it on. The other one in here is vibrations. They take up a lot of battery life, so you could go in and turn these off. Key vibrations, alert vibrations. Back again. Then under tones, keytones, I just always keep this turned off because I don't want it to beep every time I scroll. But these other ones, like maybe message and call tones, you want to turn that off. Alarm tones, I usually leave that on in case I'm actually out in the mountains and setting an alarm for the morning. I want that still to come through. And activity alerts, we could go ahead and turn that off. So those are 3 or 4 things in there that are really going to help save your battery life. Another way to save battery life is when you're in a workout. So you can go to the settings here, then activity alert, And anytime you're getting an alert, this is taking up some battery, of course. So as many of these that you can have turned off, the better. I'll usually just keep that distance alert on because I do like to know when I've reached a kilometer or a mile, but these other ones I don't find necessary. Also, if you end up in this navigation mode, like you're loading a map or you're doing the return to start feature, if you stay on the navigation page in workout mode, that is another thing that will drain your battery. So just be mindful of that. Use the navigation if you need it, but then while you're not using it, go to another screen, just one of these normal screens on the workout mode that tells you, say, your heart rate or the amount of distance that you've gone. Another way to save battery life is by turning off notifications on your COROS watch. I show you how to adjust those notification settings in this video. Tip number 3, arrange for a way to keep the watch charged. On most outings, even a multi-day outing, you can bring something like a small power bank to keep the watch charged. If you're going to be out even longer, you might want to use something like an inexpensive solar panel to keep the power bank charged and then keep your watch charged. And another consideration is if you are going to do that, you want to have, of course, the charging cable along. So this is the one that comes with the watch, but COROS also has this Keychain watch charger. It retails for $25, which is kind of expensive, but I haven't been disappointed with it. Let me show you this Keychain watch charger. Again, this retails for $25 on the COROS website. Here's what it looks like in comparison to the charging cord that comes out of the box. Now, I was confused at first on this. When you pull this out, it's attached via a magnet here. But this USB looks very different than your standard USB from this out-of-the-box cable. But rest assured, it does plug in just as you would expect to any USB port. So basically, this allows you to carry a much smaller charging cable with you in the mountains. Please consider subscribing if you found this video valuable, and click or tap the screen to check out this next video about how to dial in notification settings on your COROS watch. And hey, my name's August. I'll see you in the next video.